Hey guys, Jupiter, you know, the lucky guy, Santa Claus, luck, opportunity, wisdom, knowledge, goodness, beneficence, the healing holy waters of the Ganges River, guru, dispeller of darkness, did I say fairy godfather, is moving into Aries. And this is going to be good for luck because he's going to bump into Venus while he's there. And it's going to be good for healing when he cohabs and chats up and lives in the Aries zone with Chiron. He hasn't met with Chiron since the 1970s in the sign of Aries. And it's going to look like a very nice, rare kind of healing vibe, you know, that's happening in your life, depending on your rising sign, with opportunity and luck involved. When is this happening? Jupiter will enter into Aries on December 20th. He will leave Aries on May the 16th. That window of time is where a lot of this is occurring, and we're going to talk about it for your sign. If you are new to my channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac, and I'm using some ancient Hellenistic tools and techniques, including whole sign houses, and I'm an asteroid junkie. So I often bring some asteroids in, and we'll be talking asteroids today as well. Now, let's talk about Jupiter just for a second. Just go back to that idea. He was in Aries, okay? Back in 2022. He was in Aries between May of 22 and October 28th. That's May the brain come back online, 11th to October the 28th. But he only made it to the 8th degree of Aries, which means that most people didn't experience the full flavor or effect of this transit, particularly the cardinal signs, which are Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. If you had your rising sign or sun and moon in the first 10 degrees or so of those signs, you already got the feeling of the kind of luck, opportunity, growth, and expansion that can happen for you. But for those Aries, sun, moon, but most particularly and accurately, please listen for your rising sign, by the way. If you don't know your rising sign, check out my free description box below, free tutorial on how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, but also find out your rising sign. But now all of the cardinal signs, Aries and Libra, yes, and Capricorn and Cancer, no matter what the degree of your rising sign, sun or moon, you're going to get the full effect, right? And that's because Jupiter is going through the entire spectrum, the whole field of 0 to 29 degrees of Aries. And he will be bumping, as I said, into both Venus and Chiron. So we're going to go into that as a general story and also for your sign. I'm calling this a deep dive video because I want to talk about some big picture stuff. Now, you know, I know you want to get to your sign. You're like, where's me? I want to talk about me. Can I lure you, convince you, seduce you into sticking around to understand this cycle so that I don't repeat? So when you listen to your sign, you understand the depth of it. So if you can, I'm exhorting you to stick around for this 15 minutes before we do all signs. First of all, big principal storylines, okay? Jupiter has been in Aries before. And I don't know that you're going to sit down right now and figure this out. You know, I get that no one has perfect memory, but I want to give you an example of my story and how you can go back over your life, depending on how old you are, right? Like I'm 60, I've got a few of these transits, and talk about how it was when Jupiter went through Aries in other iterations of your life. For example, Jupiter went through Aries in 1975 to 1976, March to March. I was 13 years old. Jupiter's going through Aries in my house of writing. I have planets, stellium and Aries in my third house of writing. I was winning writing awards at that point in my life. I was in grade 8 and I was being mentored by a teacher who told me that I needed to become a writer. And indeed, I became a journalist. You know, so go back and say, well, 1975 to 1976, March to March, that was when Jupiter was in Aries last time. Your Aries sky is your own unique part of your natal sky. Not last time, way back when, one of 12 houses, right? So one of 12 meanings could be Jupiter going through your marriage house, your career house, your home life, your health, whatever. And that's where we're going to get to the all signs. But understand the cycle repeats itself every 12 years. So Jupiter would have been in the sign of Aries, March 1987 to March of 1988. And I was 25 and I got my first big job in New York City as a journalist working at a magazine in Chelsea. You know, so you see the rhythm I'm trying to show you, because Jupiter is in my third house of writing and journalism and media and newspapers, right? And that's my thing. That's what I did for years, right? February of 1999 to October. Now, this is a tricky one, okay? This is one of those retrograde ones that zigs in and out. But basically, February of 99 to June of 99, and then October of 99 to February of 2000. Go back in your life, what was happening then? I had a baby, my daughter. Then go back, and the moon is in my house of Aries, where Jupiter was, so moon is motherhood, right? And then go back to June of 2010 to September of 2010. That's the last time this happened. And then January of 2011 to June of 2011. So that one was a separated out, you know, longer story like we're having now, but it's the same idea. Jupiter in Aries, June of 2010 to September 2010, and January of 2011. Okay, to June of 2011. I'm doing that so you can look at your life cycle. So you can spend some time learning about how you relate to Jupiter in Aries, what was happening in your life each time this happened. Now, second of all, Jupiter is in a synodic cycle that he combines himself with the sun, and Jupiter and the sun join together in the sky on a regular rhythm. And this is the last quarter square before he joins with the sun again. And he'll be joining with the sun in the month of, drum roll please, because I wrote this down, so April 11th of this year. So April 11th of 2023, Jupiter will meet with the sun. And as he does, he's in the last quarter square before he finalizes what he began March the 5th. Let's go exactly what exact timing that was. March the 5th, 2022, he joined the sun at 14 degrees of Pisces. Now he'll go April of 2023, he'll join the sun at 21 Aries. It's called a cazimi. I'm not going to go through all the quarter squares and the oppositions. I only want to say this. When he's going to meet with the sun in the month of April, that means he's going to become invisible. We can't see him with our eye because he's too close to the beams of the sun. No matter how bright Jupiter is, there are certain times when the sun will be brighter and outshine him in the night sky. So, hey, invisible Jupiter means like Jupiter, low key, not giving you outer world results. It means that even though Jupiter is lucky, beneficent, wealth, prosperity, goodness, wisdom, and knowledge, when he's invisible, he's not displaying that in your life or in the world. It's not happening. So you must know that he will be invisible. So during this amazing transit, right, through Aries, right, where we're looking for that luck with Chiron, and we're looking for the healing with Chiron, the luck with Venus, and I'll give you dates. We want to remember that he will not be able to affect the luck and the goodness between March the 21st and May the 1st, when he is invisible, including the cazimi moment, which we'll do a whole video on April the, whatever the date was, 11th. So let's caveat that. Remember, look at your cycle, look back in your life, go back to your history, see what was happening. Second of all, know that he will be invisible on the 21st of March to May the 1st. So some of this luck we're talking about can happen, but before the 21st of March and after May the 1st. So May 1st is 16th. So if there's a delay, that's going to be the reason why. Now, you know, I went back in time for any of you history geeks. You know, I had like research this thing and figure it out for myself. And I wanted to say, what happens when Jupiter and Chiron come together? Because someone told me, another astrologer said, war, war, war. You know, I'm like, really, really? Is it always war? Chiron was the noble mentor of warriors. He mentored the heroes and the healers of the ancient world. And he told Achilles how to fight, but never to kill some beast that was not of any danger, no rando killings, you know, hold your killing sprees for only the most necessary times in history. In other words, Chiron mentored warriors. And so when Jupiter, a benefic god of justice, comes up to the mentor of the warriors, is it always about war? And no, in my research, it's not always about war. Sometimes it's about a cessation of war. And we have a war in the Ukraine. So my hope is it's more like a cessation rather than an initiation of war. So for example, Jupiter will conjunct Chiron March 13th, right? I told you, remember, he's still visible until around the 21st of March. And as he does that, he may create the end of a war. I'll give you some examples of the times that war started and ended in the history of this Jupiter-Chiron conjunction, because this Jupiter-Chiron conjunction last happened in 1976, and that was the Lebanese Civil War. It was ongoing. It was not an end to that war at all. And yet Carter won the election that same year in the United States. Now, Jimmy Carter was heralded by the people as a hope, because people were exhausted with the previous administration. They were exhausted in 1976 with the Vietnam War. They wanted to see change. They look at Jimmy Carter as a good guy. So it's an interesting time because, yes, over there in Lebanon, the Civil War was going on, but it was the introduction of Jimmy Carter at the wind down of the Vietnam War in 76. And there may be other wars that were going on in 76. I think the Arab Spring was happening then, I'm not sure. But the point is that it's not always the worst thing possible. The War of Independence in Greece was happening in 1821 during the time that Chiron and Jupiter came in. In fact, that was like a very warry time for Greece when there was a Greek War of Independence. And then interestingly, though, because I'm going to make a point that sometimes wars can begin and end, there was the end of the Russian-Turkish War back in the 1773 to 74 timeframe, when Chiron was in Aries for a long time and Jupiter was there with him. They kept meeting each other because there was a Jupiter retrograde. So this end of this long Russian-Turkish War took place with a Chiron-Jupiter event. And there's a Russia's implication, right? We have Russia, Ukraine. But at the same time, that right after that 74 Jupiter Chiron conjunction, we ended up with the War of American Revolution, right? That's, the beginning of that energy of America bucking away from England. So revolutions, right? Independence wars, civil wars, we're seeing that wars can be happening here. And in 1679, it was the end of a war between Sweden and Denmark. So I'm saying it's often thematically about war, but it can be both endings and beginnings. I'm hopeful that in this case, it's the end of a war, given that Russia ended a war as well with Turkey during Jupiter Chiron Ingress combination way back when, the end of that war. What was the name of it? The Russian-Turkish War. And that ended in the 73-74 timeframe. Thank you to Jupiter Chiron. So it's a bit of a catch-all. Both things can happen. Civil wars, revolutions, revolutionary wars, independence wars, etc., and also the cessation of those wars. To continue, these is the deep dive, right? We're talking about Jupiter Chiron. Now, the Jupiter Chiron meeting is on the 13th, but it's preceded by some other really cool developments that we must talk about. When Jupiter first goes into Aries, right, he's going to immediately hook up with a couple of interesting placements. He enters Aries at the 0 point, and he is going to end up in a square and an oppositional relationship to Ceres and Hygeia. Now, this forms a T-square in the sky, and a T-square is a gnarly tension aspect. What would it be like when Jupiter squares Hygeia, the god of health and hygiene in Capricorn, and also is opposing Ceres at Libra 0 degrees, the goddess of harvest, grains, the plebeian justice for the people. She's like the goddess who brings justice, not just for the patrician rich, believe it or not, that's one of her meanings. And she's also a protector of mothers and children and stuff like that, and nurturance, the protective mother archetype. So there's something going on, and I'm not going to speculate, but given that Jupiter's first ingress involves a square to Hygeia and Ceres, and it's a tight square, it's a very partile, everybody's at 0 degrees, it's really tight, it's important. And it may actually speak to what Jupiter may be doing in the months till May, where he's in the sign of Aries, where he's working on correcting things to do with justice and health and healing, possibly power structures control, Hygeia in Capricorn, which is about money and markets, and Ceres in Libra, which is about justice. Think FTX, the scandal with the collapse of the trading platform for crypto. And then I would bet any money Jupiter is looking like he's cleaning up hygiene in Capricorn, money systems, Ceres justice for the plebe. What about all those poor people who lost their money in the FTX scandal? So we're going to see a lot of that playing out, maybe justice for people who are illegally fired or refrained from going to work because they chose not to get a vaccination, and that being fixed. Just recently, the United States government told the military that they didn't need, that there's no more military vaccine requirement for COVID, you know, that kind of thing. So there's going to be some adjustments around these kinds of themes, with justice for the people being a major theme. And it may play out because it's at the ingress point over the next few months. And then on top of that, Jupiter is going to end up squaring the new moon in Capricorn. I'm not going to go into that. You need to watch my new moon in Capricorn video that's still here, and you can watch that, right? Go back and watch it. It's good for like December 23rd, add 2 weeks really of giving you some info, and it applies to themes that can unfold until July. You can listen for your sign. And then what I'm really kind of excited about too is this meetup with Venus. Now, in Indian Vedic astrology, Venus and Jupiter conjunct is a planetary war, and it's not considered a positive thing. In modern astrology, it's considered to be like a very lucky combination of two benefics, or two good fairy godmother and fairy godfather colliding and colluding on your behalf. Is it a good thing? Well, you're going to have to decide. It's happening on March the 2nd. I'll delineate that for your sign, and I'll talk about the Chiron Jupiter conjunction as well for your sign. What I find interesting about Venus meeting up on March the 2nd with Jupiter, in fact, Jupiter is sitting there and Venus is coming toward him, is that there's an asteroid there about homecoming, and I cannot pronounce this asteroid. It's a Hawaiian asteroid, Liliulikulini Lana, but I'm going to share the screen just temporarily here so you can get some sky pictures. Okay, going. And where am I? Why am I way over there in May right now? I have no idea, but we're going to back ourselves up and move ourselves over to like our current time frame. Okay, so there you see Jupiter at 0 degrees, and there's Chiron, and that little thing beside him, right? That little asteroid body here that I was trying to pronounce for you. Let me get it down for you. I can't say it, but I would guess it would be, I'm squinting now, Liliulikulahonua. Okay. And I'm just going to call it the asteroid from Hawaii because honest to gosh, it's complicated to say, but it has to do with a yearning for one's true home and a homecoming. And it's not that I can tell you the entire myth. I'm just using my software and delineating from the software. But if I go into the software and I talk about it from that perspective, we'll get some more depth. But I want to also say, you can see Jupiter at 0 degrees is exactly opposite Ceres, the plebeian goddess of justice and the sign of law, and they're squaring both of them, Hygeia, at 2 degrees of Capricorn. And this is going to also pertain to that new moon on the 23rd in Capricorn. And therefore, I would say to you, look to in your own life where you may be finding some justice and some healing spilling out of this new moon. To get more juice on the new moon, listen for that video. There you have like the new moon with Hygeia in a square to Jupiter. So exactly what I was saying. And this starts off as soon as Jupiter enters into Aries. Meaning that it's kind of baked into his moment of ingress. Therefore, it may be a narrative that's going to unfold over the 5 months until the middle of May. Anyway, as we go on and we continue with like him moving forward, for some of you geeky types who like to watch this stuff, I'm going by days, but what the heck, you know, I want to show you how he's going to meet with, let's move it to weeks, Venus on March the 2nd. And that's going to be, I think, positive. Yes, it's a planetary war, but it's two benefics huddled together in the sky in one piece of real estate called Aries. And we will see in our own lives if it indeed is luck. I know a lot of astrologers in the modern world go, luckiest day of the year, you know. Yeah, so here we go. So there's Venus sitting here at 12 degrees, and there's Jupiter at 12 degrees. And there is this homecoming asteroid here at 11. And this asteroid, I'm going to delineate it for you, because where would you have a lucky homecoming around March the 1st, 2nd? What could it mean for you that's being precipitated in the sky? And because this asteroid is not something I'm using on the daily, I'm going to go into my asteroid aspects back end, and I'm going to read it to you. And it is, because it will be Jupiter conjunct this asteroid. Excuse me while I squint. I thought for a change, I'd try sitting on the sofa instead of my squeaking bar stool, but now I'm propping you guys on pillows, and that's just as awkward. Jupiter, where are you? There we are. Okay, Jupiter conjunct this asteroid. Okay, it's asteroid number 541132 if you're interested. Oops, in asteroid numbers. From Hawaiian myth, a life form mentioned in the creation chant, associated with the migratory flight of birds longing to be near the earth, searching for one's true home, homesick for what once was, even if it's only a product of our imagination, and a longing to be where your spirit lives, helping others to find their home or to return home, and bringing something back with you and making it a part of your home, leaving home in order to better appreciate your home. Now, when we talk about war, because don't forget, Chiron is going to hook up with Jupiter, and that could be the end of the Ukraine war. There could be the theme of homecoming for Ukrainians who fled their nation and will return to their homeland, for example. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? So who knows, that asteroid's placement can be in a global story, maybe just something like literally going back home because there's no more war in your country. All right, so I'm going to do the all signs, and I just had wanted to give you guys the opening broad brush stroke of this. I'm recording this on December 19th. I think you're going to see it on the 20th. My Patreon community gets everything ahead of time. Like they've got all kinds of content, 5 days, 8 days, a week ahead, ad free. If you want to join, it's $5. So check the description box. And if you want to check out my 2021 all signs bundle, 23, you can listen for your sun, moon, and rising, and you can get it with my special YouTube discount code Santa25, which brings the price down to only $35. And there are 12 hours of content, 1 hour for each video. And you can give it to stocking stuffers, to friends and family for Christmas. I'd share the PDF. You get a downloadable PDF with links to these videos on my unlisted parts of my YouTube. However, if you want just to buy your rising sign, that's only like, I don't know, $15 or something. And it's all in the description box below. The Santa 25 code, I think, only works so for the bundle. So it's better to buy the bundle. You save money. All righty. That's a little bit about what I'm up to. And check out my description box below if you're new to my channel, because you can check my Sky Reader and my Divine Timing Masterclass courses. Waitlists are available to get on the waitlist. They sell out usually on the waitlist before it even goes to the public. And you might want to learn astrology from me. I love teaching it. Okay, let's roll. I'm not going to do this chart where I'm navigating through every sign because it kind of makes no sense, right? Because I'm looking at different dates. And so it's really awkward to keep moving the thing back and forth. So instead, what I'm going to do is talk about Aries and move through the sky in zodiacal order. I'm having a really greasy hair day, but I'm not shampooing because it's bad to shampoo every day. So sometimes I make comments about my appearance, and today I'm like, yeah, it needs to be shampooed, but not today. All right. Let's start off by talking about the Aries story. Well, obviously, Aries, this is a big deal because, you know, Jupiter coming home to your sign, especially for the rising sign people, happens only every 12 years. Sun and moon sign every 12 years. And you want to look at this as a precious opportunity to harness a fiery, fired up, super jazzed up fairy godfather who's got a lot of power to bring you goodness. And with Mars, the ruler of Jupiter, sitting in your third house, there is a possibility that things to do with your siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, okay, at the ingress time, right, in January, there's a possibility that you're going to find, that doesn't make any sense. When Jupiter goes into Aries on December 20th, Mars will be in your third house, and that will be true until the third week of May. And I want to say it sort of starts off strong. Mars goes direct on the 12th. Jupiter enters into Aries, Mars' sign. Mars is only 2 signs away. It's called a sextile. And this means that there's flow between the house of siblings, trips, travels, and journeys as a general principle, and flow between the house of you. So for some of you Aries people, it could look like new opportunities in the very beginning, in the first like 3 months, for taking a trip with a sibling visiting you, trips and travel to local, not too far away places, maybe a new direction and something you wish to learn, picking up a skills-based education, or some real momentum with your online life, especially if you have websites and you work in the online world. and some luck regarding that. As Jupiter comes into contact with Venus, is it really a lucky day or is it a planetary war? So look to see what happens around March 2nd, give or take 3 or 4 days on either side. Do you have a burst of sudden luck and it feels like you're coming home to yourself? Is there a sense of returning home? Mars is still in the story. He's still in Gemini and he is out of bounds and really accelerating radically unexpected and powerful energies outside the bounds of normal expectations. So maybe you could have some kind of crazy ass, exciting, sibling story or travel story coming through that feels so lucky. Now with the homecoming, maybe because you're going to travel to a place that feels like home. You're the migrational bird coming back home. Remember the story of the myth I told you in the intro of this asteroid from Hawaii being involved. And so you may be coming home, traveling to a place that feels like home, having a homecoming, maybe because you're going back home to see your siblings or visit people, things like that. Then we also have the Chiron story. Now, that happened in 1976, depending on how old you are. It's the last time it happened in our modern history. So it's kind of a real feeling here around that connection between the two, maybe of coming into a deeper healing that's embedded within it, goodness and wisdom and even opportunity around March 13th. And we still have a visible Jupiter. Remember, he's visible until around the 21st of March. And so it's really kind of auspicious in the weeks that follow, couple of weeks that follow. What's the lucky healing opportunity that's going to be available to you? Now, if it's a rising sign, it could be about your body, and if it's not your rising sign and your sun, it could be about a purpose, career, father healing, your moon, home, safety, nest, emotional set point, mother healing. Okay. So keep your eye on that story, Aries. And technically the sun could be your father and the moon can be your mother if your Aries sun and moon are involved. It's really going to impact people because of the degree of the conjunction, which, is important around, what is the degree? 14 degrees of Aries. So technically, let's go 9 degrees of Aries to 19 degrees of Aries. You're really feeling this deep, profound healing regarding themes of your body, or as I said, sun and moon, the other themes. And it will be felt by all Aries, but my sun's at 14. So this is a deep healing for me, right? I'm getting like a solar healing energy, maybe around purpose, career, father wounds, father issues, and Chiron and Jupiter. Also could have lucky breaks. It's very healing through men in my life at that time. So we shall see. And it's in my house of writing. So we'll just see what that looks like as well. All right. So I think that's a cool delineation. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'd say Jupiter meeting with Chiron, rare event. Jupiter is the ruler in your chart of the Sagittarius part of your sky, which this conjunction of Chiron and Jupiter can realize by looking over at the trine to the 9th house. So possibly Jupiter and Chiron could heal something. The theme of homecoming is here. We got Mars in a travel house, trains, planes, and automobiles and locomotion. There's a journey that some of you are being asked to take that may involve a foreign shore or foreign land, and it may be coming up as an unexpected opportunity, but it may be very healing as well. And certainly with Venus in the precursor window, bringing also some very good luck here, maybe even prosperity to you personally. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to do all signs. I'm just going to pause while I adjust my setup. Okay. I think that I'm sinking into the sofa. Let me just pause this because you guys don't get dizzy as I move this camera around. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just wanted to adjust this so that I wasn't sinking into the sofa and you guys were sinking into the house. Oh my God. All right, so moving on to Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. People, always look for your rising sign. If you're watching in the live premiere, please hit my like button. It helps the channel grow. It's an algorithmic game. My views are up this month, but my subscribers are down. So if you don't mind subscribing, that would really help as well. I think it's just Christmas, but my views are pretty consistent, but my subscription level has gone down quite a bit in December. So it seems like right after the presidential election, midterms. I mean, I made some like bloopers in terms of forecast, but on top of that, I think, you know, might have got a little algorithmic suppression going on here. So hit my like button, hit my subscribe. Okay, so let's get going. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign people in the sky for you. Aries is a 12th house placement. Yes, it's not a place where you feel the effects most commonly as a real out picture in your life. It's a transpersonal house. It's a mystical house. It's a past life house. It's deep past, you know, it's things to do with magical outcomes and the Akashic records and your own self-defeating habits and patterns, hospitals, insane asylums, isolation. Okay. Confinement. Did I say jails? Okay. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Now, Jupiter here can bring justice to something that needs to be fixed, to do with someone in your life who's incarcerated. Chiron, Jupiter can bring healing to somebody who's in a hospital. Venus, Jupiter can bring luck and opportunity to study or abroad, to travel abroad, or money from foreign shores. These are all things that can happen during this transit. But for the most part, Taurus, there's a subtle quality here. And it may have to do more with your inner life, your dreams at night, your meditations. And when it comes to that homecoming archetype, where do you want to come home to yourself at a deep soul level? Now, I would say we're going to go in a little chronological order, right? That the first thing on March 2nd, with Venus co-joining with the asteroid Lulu Kalalama, or whatever, the Hawaiian asteroid, for homecoming and migratory birds searching for their true home. And then Venus and Jupiter co-joining with that asteroid on March the 2nd. And Jupiter still visible in the sky, so effective until the 21st of March. I guess I'd say that there's something kicking off March 2nd, give or take a few days on either side, that can be very, very auspicious for you. And, you know, this is happening around the 12th degree or so of the sign of Aries. And so certainly if you're looking at that from a subtle perspective, and your rising sign is Taurus around 12, you're getting a subtle kind of semi-sextile connection, partile connection to this event. Same with Taurus, sun and moon at 12 degrees. So it may impact you a bit more than the average Taurian. And it could also have to do with the sense that you may want to activate something about learning. I mean, the 12th house squares the two learning houses, 9 and 3. And I often find it activates something to do with education. So there's a healing and a goodness and a luck and an opportunity connected to themes of learning, education, foreign lands, and travel, just by angularity to that house. If this was my sky and I was having this in the 12th house, I'd be very attentive to my dreams at night, to see if any big dreams are coming through, any shamanic dreams, anything really important like that, that could be up in the air for me, you know, looking for, you know, clues, looking for signs from the dream realm. At the same time, later on, Chiron will hit, Jupiter and Chiron will get together, and that'll happen at the 14th degree or so. And this is going to be an opportunity for healing and restoration of something at a deep psychological, spiritual, or you know, that kind of level of your being. I find that Jupiter Chiron can outpicture as a guide, a therapist, a teacher, a shaman, or a mentor, or a coach. You may be involved in any of those things, and even shaman, coach, mentor, guide, foreign land for some of you Tauruses. And that window is around March 13th when the door for this opens. Now, remember, Jupiter will shortly become invisible a week later. So look for the most obvious clues to some of what can happen between March 13th and the 21st of March. And then again, May 1st onward, when you might get more visible signs of what is incubating here in your 12th house. You know, if you have a female in your life who's going through a hard time, like sick in the hospital or maybe going to jail, this can be very positive for Jupiter conjuncting Venus and Chiron healing. So maybe it's not about you, it's about a female in your life. And so therefore this has a good outcome, not usually a parental figure either. Venus could be like a friend or an ally or female friend. And if you have hidden enemies who wish you ill, this can help heal them, even the pattern of letting hidden enemies get the better of you, because there's a profound once every, you know, I don't know, 1976, you know, very rare a connection between Jupiter and the healer Chiron in the house of hidden enemies. And maybe for a lot of Tauruses, that's going to be an ending. And lastly, if you have any legal affairs or court cases that are going on in your life, this squares the house of courts, and possibly this could be Venus and Jupiter could bring luck regarding court cases, and Chiron, Jupiter later on can bring healing. So March could bring healing around court and legal affairs. Now, healing can just be resolution as well if it's been ongoing. Now I'm cold because this is cold. I'm sitting in a window sofa by the window. All right, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign, the energy of Jupiter moving through from December 20th all the way to mid-May, May 16th, your 11th house of good spirit. This is where Jupiter has his joy. Don't forget, he was already here, but only to the 8th degree last year. Listen to the intro for all the dates. Now you get the full Monty. He's moving past the 8th degree. He's doing all degrees of this part of your sky. A superior stellar time during those 5 months for sure of getting, you know, gifts from the universe, pennies from heaven, windfalls, great gains from your career, favors from friends in high places, social influence and outreach expanding, your potential here for revising your dreams to larger dreams and dreaming bigger visions for your own life. It's all very positive. And in fact, when Jupiter is going through here, he is in his joy house. So he's extra specially strong. He's extra specially powerful. I did mention he is invisible roughly between the 21st of March and the 1st of May, and some of the goodies in his Santa Claus bag may not show up for you then. So look to the best juice in the first 3 months, you know, while he's still visible. And then the last 2 weeks while he's still visible as well. So December 20th to March the 21st. Now, Mars is going to be participating, and I realized I forgot to say that for the last sign, but it's happening in Mars's house. And Mars is going through the sign of Gemini, which is your first house, which is you, which is why I remember to bring up Mars. And Mars has been there for a long time, since August 20th, 2020 to March 25th, 2023. Well, you've been learning to be more boundary, decisive, focused on directionality, you know, finding your motivation, finding what you really want, finding your willpower. And this has been going on and been true for you for a while. And for a mutable sign, this is actually most excellent because now you're less fickle and more decisive. But Jupiter going direct on January the 12th, giving you more momentum, while Jupiter is spicing up your 11th house, speaks to you taking powerful action steps and decisions that are going to create greater gains financially to you in your life, mostly through your career path, sometimes through some lucky inheritance monies or breaks financially that look like chunky money falling from heaven, windfalls, and all of that. This is the house of the eldest sibling. If you have an eldest sibling, this person could be benefiting you as Jupiter moves through your 11th house until May the 16th. Highlights, I love that he will meet with Venus. I think it could be very positive. Maybe this is indeed not a planetary war, but a planetary love up. What kind of lucky break could happen for you around March the 2nd, give or take a couple of days, especially if your rising sign, Gemini, is anywhere near the 12th degree of Gemini, let's say 5 degrees on either side, especially lucky for you. And then Venus, and then Jupiter will connect with Chiron, and the two of them will have a hookup that hasn't happened since 1976 in your 11th house of good spirit. What is being healed? Often chironic wounds that are being healed, if they're 11th house wounds, can be archetypally about not belonging to the groups that you want to belong to, not fitting in somehow, or not having friends who've supported you enough in life or something. Anyway, some spectacular Jupiter juice setting up some healing around themes of woundedness in groups of people, woundedness of belonging, woundedness of friends who actually are your ally, or things like that. Even woundedness about the big dreams you want to have. And we've got that asteroid of homecoming here in the 11th house. Could it be a homecoming to your own truest dreams and visions for your life? And that healing with Chiron is occurring on March 13th. You want to give it a few days on either side. And a lot of the external results can be seen before the 21st of the month of March, when Jupiter goes invisible until May 1st. I'd look to see results in the shorter time, not the longer arc of the story. Okay. All right, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign people. This is a story of Jupiter moving through Aries in your 10th house of career. There's no doubt about it. If you have, did I say Cancer? Or did I say Pisces? Cancer, sun, moon, and rising people. If you're watching I was up at 5:30. My daughter woke me up because she couldn't get a car and I'm exhausted. To work because it was snowing here and all the Ubers were taken. So I am like a little bit of a zombie today. I apologize. It's like I like half a brain here. Okay. I'm going to bed at like 7 o'clock tonight. Where was I? I lost my thread. Cancer, sun, moon, rising. Yeah. So it's a career story, right? It's success, it's your reputation in the world. You're up leveling, your Jupiter juice up here. Go back and see what was happening like May 11th to October 28th in your career. Like my sister's a Cancer rising and are healingwithancylynn.com, plug Reiki business with miracle healings. I swear at a distance, she's incredible. Took off. It was the beginning of her career as a Reiki healer, really blasting through from where it had been before. And now she's very, very booked up and having a great time doing this work, etc. So Jupiter's back. He's back. And so for people who have career ambitions and wish to succeed at what they're striving to do, and if you're a student, that's your career. If you're a full-time mother, that's your career, or father. But what you're doing, the actions you're doing, what you think success looks like, Jupiter says, I agree, let's expand that. And now this is taking place, of course, December 20th until May 16th. Most of the juice is best when he's visible until the 21st of March. And then the first 2 weeks of May. I would say that, with this story looking like mostly happening up at the top of the sky between 12 and 14 degrees. That's the Venus meetup and the Chiron meetup. For you, Cancer risings with a sun, moon, or rising, especially anywhere from 7 degrees to 20 degrees. You're getting a lot of the momentum of this Jupiter transit as he conjuncts Venus and Chiron in the month of March. So the Venus conjunction is happening on March the 2nd, give or take a day or two on either side. Could be a major lucky break and really feeling like you're coming home, like a migratory bird finally arriving back home to some place that you wanted to be in your reputation and career. And then Jupiter will meet with Chiron on March the 13th. And then that could look like a real healing around father issues, the house of the father, around career, around you becoming Chiron, a healer, guide, and mentor, Jupiter teacher, up-leveled for people like my sister. You could come into contact with people in power, or people in power favor you. And it feels like a very healing development as Jupiter and Chiron favor you in the house of career. And it feels like a healing and a homecoming. Both of those things can be true. All right. And it just looks like a really good momentum and luck in your career, bottom line, to keep it very simple. And let's keep going. When my hair is greasy, guys, I just can't stand it. So oily, greasy, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be Leo people, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now we have Jupiter coming back to Aries, where he was in Aries, right? May the 10th or 11th last year to October 28th. Now he's back again. And, the whole feel of what was happening back then, you could feel it again, right? Here he comes to Aries, and it's your 9th house of God, truth, religion, foreign lands, foreign shores, book publishing, higher education, churches, temples, religion, and faith. A lot of stuff, right? And did I say court cases? So this is a good transit for winning in court. If you are a Leo rising, especially, you can win the day here, especially with a meeting with Venus on March 2nd, maybe a financial bonus point as you win a court case and money falls in your favor toward you. This is also really good for beautiful and fortunate travel to far off shores and far off lands. This could also involve the ability to find a deeper spiritual tradition or belief, or upgrade your spiritual beliefs. If you go back to what you were feeling May through October, now you're going to feel more of it with more intensity, because Jupiter will make it through the entirety of the 9th house, trining flowing towards your Leo body, your Leo identity. If you were learning and studying or teaching, this is also maybe more of that. You're enrolled in new courses, you're teaching new courses, great for academics. Like if you're a Leo studying anything academically, especially the rising, super up levels for success here as well. And look for the most juice around luck and opportunity for foreign lands and travel, for leisure travel, travel with a woman, legal court cases working out to your benefit, maybe even financially. If you're in the book publishing industry, getting an agent, a publisher, making a breakthrough here. The Jupiter-Venus conjunction is on March 2nd, and then Jupiter-Chiron to heal something here, heal a lost bit of faith in the universe, heal a wound around legal matters, heal something to do with a father or father figure. Ninth house Vedic astrology is a father figure. Heal something to do with a third marriage. Ninth house can be your third marriage. The window of time here for that healing, that opening for that healing is happening after the Chiron conjunction on the 13th. So you might go 3 days before and 5 days after, and notice that it is going to be most effective before the 21st of March, because we still want Jupiter to be visible, and he will go in more or less invisible somewhere around the third week of March. And Mars is handling this story in the sense that it's happening in his home. He's busy until March 25th. And January 12th to March 25th, he's moving direct in your 11th house of good spirit. This could bring trips and travel with an eldest sibling. This could bring journeys with friends and large groups of belonging, or trips and journeys for the purpose of being a part of a larger group, and favors from friends as well that help you take those trips, if that's anything that you may be doing as a Leo sun, moon, or rising sign. Long story short, too, with that homecoming migratory bird thing up in the ninth, you may travel to a place that feels like home, even if it's not your real home, right? Like every time I go back to Rome, I feel like I'm at home. That's what I say when I go back to Rome. So, and Scotland as well for me. So whatever that is, it feels like a homecoming, even if it's not your home. I do think a lot of you Leos are traveling. Now, are you traveling when? You probably try at least planning the trip before Mars leaves your 11th house. So probably knowing that there's a journey you want to take and having it planned by the end of March. And you may actually take the trip anytime between December 20th and May 16th. Okay, I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. I need to get some chocolate. So there's a joke in my channel. This is a tangerine. I promise I'm not going to eat it in front of you. Nom, 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 nom. I literally had COVID. I was recovering from COVID, and I was like fainting and trying to do a video for you guys a few months ago in September. And I was like quietly nibbling a tangerine between speaking. And I had so much negative conflict from that, from people like quitting my channel or screaming at me. And then I discovered some people have a thing around the sounds of chewing, although I was very discreet. But I thought, how do those people eat at restaurants with their friends, you know? And the mastication syndrome. But it's a bit of a joke, right? Like you can sip your tea, I guess that's okay. But you can't eat on YouTube, really? Why? If I was talking to you in a restaurant and I was eating, I'd stop, pause, chew, talk, right? And it's not like I ever chew into the mic. And I keep bringing this up because I think sometimes on YouTube land, people are so entitled that they're going to get content from you and it has to be their way. Talk slower, don't eat, don't do that, pull your hair back, don't, you know. And I'm like, well, really? Like, anyway, I just took a tangerine break. I ate the thing. That was a spare tangerine. And I'm getting back to the story. I apologize for the rant. You got to do it on someone's shift. And this was for the Virgos because I'm moving into Virgo time. So Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Here's the deal. Jupiter is in a money house. All right. It's your inheritances, bequeathments, tax rebates, loans, mortgages, spousal shared resources, dispensations, royalty income, stock market monies. Got it? Now, Jupiter will try to help you and make your money expand wherever he goes. This is a money house. You expand your money. He was trying to sort of expand your money. I'm going to give it a little bit of a good old go. You know, May through to the end of October in 2022, but he only made it into the 8th degree. So he didn't get very far before he retrograded, and then he was going into Pisces. So it was a bit of a kind of a half-assed attempt. And now he's back and he's full on going to spend December 20th through to May 16th, going through the entirety of your 8th house of chunky money. So I don't know how he's going to do it, but chunky money's coming your way. That's basically the bottom line. That's all I can say. You're going to expand financially. Thank you, Jupiter, for some money that I could use, or that my spouse is getting tons of money and I'm benefiting. It's a chunky money upgrade. Yes, it can be inheritance money. I don't want to worry you, but yes, this is the bequeathment or legacy wealth transit as well. Now, with Chiron up there in Venus, I talked about this earlier in the longer part of the video at the beginning. There's some luck and some money with Venus expanding. There's also healing and a sense of coming home to oneself, because they have asteroid Liliucoliniana, whatever it's called. No one can say Hawaiian words without getting a pronunciation dictionary handy, and I didn't take the time to do that. But this asteroid and Venus are sitting here and they're being activated on March the 2nd by Jupiter. And it could be there's some kind of financial excitement going on, but also a sense of coming home to yourself in terms of your financial life. Secrets, hidden things, secret romances. Venus is here at a dignity in Aries. Some of you might have to watch out for either you or your partner with sexual secrets or secret romance stuff. But then Jupiter bonifies it, maybe spills the secrets, brings things out, tells the world what's going on. You know, even bring some Jupiter juice of holy waters of the Ganges to your secrets house. And so secrets can be spilled from the ancestral family line here as well. I do feel like, though, there's money to be had when the money goddess is going to connect with the Jupiter god, and they're going to collaborate in that part of your sky. Because I mentioned earlier that Jupiter is invisible, you probably want to see, you probably will see a lot of the goodness most obviously happening before the 21st of March. And again, after, in the first 2 weeks of May, because in the middle of that, he's invisible. So you don't see the outpicturing of the financial goodness as much. I would also say with Mars, the host of the story of what's happening in the 8th house, that for the first 3.5 months, like until March 25th, Mars is in your 10th house of career. That's also the house of the father. So money could come from a father figure, or inheritance, and that can be grandparents as well. Mars could be having you cut away and change direction in your career path. And in so doing, you may be able to create money. This could be retirement money or payouts or buyouts or cashing in on a retirement plan. Or my daughter's a Virgo rising. She wants to ask her boss for her, what do you call it, for her job, her vacation pay up front. And maybe by the time that all comes through, it'll be happening, you know, during this time with Mars direct January 12th. Through to March 25th, where she could cash out from money from her job, right? 8th house money. It's not money. It's not a paycheck. It's like a chunky bit of money. That's an example. And it's probably going to happen that way for my Virgo rising daughter. And then when it comes to career, maybe money from your career can look like Mars change of position in your career or direction, leading you to greater financial wealth. But 8th house wealth, I don't know, maybe you could buy into the company. There's a stock share thing, or there's there's an end of year bonus, something like that. Anything else I want to tell you? No, I don't think so. It's about the money. All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign people. I keep moving myself around here because I'm trying to get comfortable and warm, and I'm neither comfortable nor warm. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign people. Your Jupiter transit through Aries, you know, you had it last year, right? Just a reminding of you of that, you know, it was in play, May the 11th to October 28th, and now it's back again. So you might want to go back and see what was happening in your life during that time, what things were occurring in your marriage house, in your significant business partner house, in the house of your audience, clients, and marketplace. It's the outreach 10th from your 10th, from things you're doing from your career to reach out into the visible space of other people. And so possibly if you go back, you'll see that you were trying to expand that part of your world. Jupiter here can bring a relationship upgrade. For Libra, sun, moon, and rising, especially rising, if you were dating, you could move in. If you're moved in, you can get engaged. If you're engaged, you can set the wedding date. If you get the wedding date, you can get married. So expanding the level of the connection to some significant other. Sometimes Jupiter brings blessed endings. So there's a possibility for any Libra rising that Jupiter will cross your descendant during the next 5 months of December 20th to May 16th and end a relationship. But it's never a surprise with Jupiter. You knew that it was struggling. It was time to let it go. Bottom line, though, it's definitely good blessings for your significant other. If you have a marriage type partner or significant committed partner, they get collateral benefits and their life gets more lucky, more juicy, more sweet as Jupiter goes through the house of your others, and they're the other. They get Jupiter juice as well. They get the promotions, the good things happening in their life. Jupiter here will meet with Venus, a money goddess, and a love goddess. And this could upgrade your love life. You could fall more deeply in love with the one you're with. You could you could commit deeper. If you're single and you're a Libra, especially rising, this could bring in a new relationship. Jupiter, Venus, energy in your 7th house. And possibly this would be a relationship with somebody that would be wealthy, right? Because Venus is a money goddess being expanded by Jupiter. And as this is happening, you know, ongoing for you, there's a feeling of homecoming. Like, are you finding yourself in a new relationship that feels like home? Do you feel like at home with this person? Or an existing relationship deepens and it feels like a homecoming to the quality of the relationship that you want in your life, like that now you're reconnecting with the one you're with. And that reconnection, homecoming, Jupiter-Venus story is around March the 2nd, give or take a few days on either side. It may impact Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising more acutely, who have planets between, let's say, 8 and, I keep changing my numbers, but we're looking at the 12th degree and the 14th degree. So splay on either side. Maybe between 7 degrees and 21 degrees of Libra, but this Jupiter and then later Chiron story are really influencing you. Okay, moving into the Chiron, what are you healing in a significant other relationship? What needs to be healed, basically? And Jupiter can help with Chiron heal. But on the other hand, Jupiter and Chiron can look like a guide, a teacher, coach, a mentor, 7th house other. If you meet a spiritual guide, coach, teacher, mentor, therapist, something like that, healer, or there's that entrance of that energy into your life around March the 14th, this is a very important healer person for you. You haven't had Jupiter and Chiron together here since 1976. If you're old enough, you might go back to 1976 and go, did you meet a guide, teacher, healer, mentor, of anything? Because I'll give you my example, for me, during that time, this is happening in my house of writing where I have my sun and my moon. I did get a teacher, guide, mentor. It was my teacher. He was totally into my writing, and he was the guy that got me to become a writer and a journalist because of his encouragement and mentorship during that school year, which he would take me aside and encourage me. And he was trying to write himself, and he was showing me all of his rejections and telling me not to take it personally when I got rejected, when I tried to submit things. And so I really did get a Jupiter Chiron mentor guide energy in my house of writing. So this is possible. It's a house of significant others. Some Libra risings are going to draw in a very significant other, teacher, guide, mentor, sometime around the 14th, at a few days on either side of March. Lastly, legal contracts and negotiations and deals and signing of those documents and agreements and vows can be 7th house, and Jupiter will protect you on the legal ease front to get what you need and want all through those months that he's traveling through your house of legal affairs. That will be true until May 16th. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Scorpios, Jupiter moving through your 6th house is going to improve your health because this is a house of sickness. So yes, go back and look. Did you try to improve your health? Were you working on it at all between basically May to the end of October last year in 22? Because now you're back at it, December 20th of this year, 22, through to May 16th of 23. Jupiter usually brings solutions or people who can help, he can bring super positive outcomes regarding the recovery from sickness or the avoidance of health challenges. In your sixth house, he can bring perfect, wonderful new pets and animals into your life, or amazing situations regarding tenancies, like being able to rent a place out as a landlord or to lease a place as a tenant. Blessed outcomes as well. And with the asteroid of homecoming here, okay, don't forget, he didn't get very much further than the first 8 degrees last year. So it really only impacted more strongly people born with 0 to 10 degrees of Scorpio around tendencies and pets and stuff like that. And debt, and removing debt from your life, karmic and real. So Jupiter, of course, he could expand your debt too, or he could bless your debt, either one. But having him going through your sixth house here, and I think for some of you, you probably had expanded debt, but he's trying to bring a healing and a homecoming vibe as well. When he meets with Venus and the asteroid for the homecoming, returning to home, a place that feels like home, migrating to a true home. Well, I kind of find that with Venus here and Jupiter on March the 2nd, give or take a few days on either side, some of you are going to find a new home. Now, you could be buying or selling because it does sextile the 4th house of real estate, but it also may be signing a lease to find a new home or to move to a new home. And Jupiter will be invisible on the 21st of March through to the 1st of May. So the best juice for that stuff I just mentioned is before that or after that, well, first 2 weeks of May. With him meeting Chiron, are you healing something here to do with a wound around your work, the work you chose to do in the world, which can feel like servitude and slavery, according to the ancients in the 6th house? Are you in a job you hate? I mean, if you need to heal that, this could happen. But Jupiter can be somebody in the workspace who's in power over you, or a boss or a superior person. And they're going to be helping you to heal something or to bless you, because both Venus is here for blessings financially. This can look like a promotion, a raise, an upgrade financially in your work. And it also can look like a healing. Maybe Chiron here is also about your body and having to find healers to help you heal. And Jupiter brings the ideal healer. You might find that, oh my God, I've been going to physio, but I really needed acupuncture. So, you might find that you get the ideal healer, the perfect healer coming to you sometime around the 13th, 14th of March, 13th of March, add a few days on either side when he conjuncts with Chiron. And then we look like, blessed healer coming your way for health challenges, if you have any. Okay. So Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm determined to get this done before 3 because I have to pick my daughter up, and it's snowy out there and there's no cabs and stuff everybody's like this. We in Vancouver, when it snows, there's a crisis because there's not enough snow removal and not enough everything. So it's snowed here. Where was I? Sagittarius, Jupiter's your ruler, right? So he's a chart ruler for all Sag rising, and he rules your sun and moon, if that's what you're listening for. So this is an important story because he's going to be moving in a trine relationship from the 5th house to your 1st house. And this flows in an inferior trine back towards you. So this is good for your health, for your sense of joviality and joy, for you just feeling better and good about being you and being good about being in life. Really, a renewed sense of hope and optimism and faith could be bestowed upon you on December 20th to May 16th. But it's from the house of your romantic life, your relationship with your children, a pregnancy and fertility, Sag rising and sun and moon, mostly rising sign though. If you are wanting to have a baby, this is an ideal conception transit. If you don't want a baby, this is an ideal don't get pregnant because you will anyway. Be careful, birth control can fail transit. Jupiter going through the 5th house of children is an extremely fertile transit for you or your partner, whoever is the one who has the baby making part, the womb part of the body. And so keep that in mind. Jupiter brings luck here, and this is a money luck house. What kind of luck? Well, especially with Venus there, the goddess of money, speculation, like a lottery ticket, a casino, gaming, a risky stock investment even. So taking money risk and winning is kind of the idea here, gaming, winning money. Don't listen to an astrologer on financial advice, but I certainly wouldn't say don't play a lottery ticket now and then during this transit. And, you know, so that's a long story, right? It goes December 20th to May the 16th with the most juice when Jupiter's visible, which is before the 21st of March and after the 1st of May. With Venus here in the house of children and romance, and if you were a single Sag, this could bring in a new romance. This could be a very expansive, empowered, exciting romance full of lots of sizzle, sexual sizzle. And if you're already with someone, it can just enhance the relationship and bring it more romance, fun, play, and pleasure. And certainly your children can benefit from the Jupiter transit, and therefore your children also can have more luck, flow, and ease in their lives. All right, so keep that in mind. And finally, well, technically, Jupiter's going to sextile the house of grandchildren, and Venus, the goddess of sperm and ovum, is in your house of children. For some Sagittarius rising people, there's a possibility of the news of a grandchild coming to you sometime in the 5 months during this transit. You know, fifth house is the muse, your creativity, things you're naturally talented at. Your inspiration and your independent business enterprise, and all of those areas have great blessings for all Sag rising, and secondarily Sun and Moon. You might feel like you're coming home to yourself in a romance with the asteroid for that here. March the 2nd, Venus Jupiter, homecoming, romance, love, and money stories. The Chironic healing on the 13th of March, especially influencing people, Sag, Sun, Moon, and Rising, with the numbers between, let's say, 7 and 20 degrees of Sag getting a lot of juice in the sky in March. What are you healing with your children, relationship-wise? What are you healing with a lover, romance-wise? What kind of sexual healing are you doing? Mars is going through the house of your significant other, and it has been since August 20th. You've probably had conflict in your primary relationship. And this could be a very healing time for that relationship throughout the 5 months that Jupiter goes through your 5th house, but most acutely between December 20th and the 25th of March, when we still have Mars in your 7th house. And most actually, we lean Mars direct. So between January 12th, let's say, and the 21st of March, because Jupiter is still visible, is a golden window to heal a relationship with a child or with a love partner in your life, or a business partner, if that makes sense to you. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. I'm freezing Capricorns, and you're the winter sign in the Northern Hemisphere. It's snowing out there again. The flakes are falling. So Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. First off, Jupiter is moving in your 4th house of home, property, land, real estate, the house of the mother and the ancestral line, and your domestic private life. Certainly, you might have felt this urge to expand your home, or move your home, or change your home back in last year between May and October. I can use my Capricorn rising ex-husband who was looking for property in Portugal and planning a move, and now probably going to stick the landing on finding the right place sometime between December 20th and May 16th, as Jupiter does the entire transit through the 4th house. It can bring a new home and homeland to my ex-Capricorn rising husband. But this is also your private life, and Jupiter brings joy. And so joy in your home life and domestic life, more faith and hope and optimism, more within your home, just a feeling of buoyancy in the home. Venus here will be met by Jupiter on March the 2nd, and this can bring a very nice prosperity boost or a bit of luck regarding property, land, and real estate, especially rentals, but you may also buy and sell. Mars in the house of rentals will be there for the first 3 months of 3.5 months of 2022, and he will be in a kind of a whole sign love up with Jupiter in the house of real estate and property. So you may find the ideal, beautiful rental, and that may occur sometime around March 2nd. And if you're trying to sell property, this could also go very well. Now, Venus could be a woman visiting you, living in the home, and Jupiter, a woman visiting who brings joy and bounty to your life, and that will be March the 2nd. And if you're single as a Capricorn, romance close to home. So looking for romance close to home could happen close to March the 2nd. New romantic relationship could spark up really close, like down the street close to home, right? With really close to your house or where you live. And the Chiron wound is here. You're trying to heal. This is a long transit. 2019 to 26. You're healing your mother wounds. You're healing your ancestral wounds. You're healing your family of origin wounds. You Capricorn rising especially. And now there's this Jupiter blessing. And so maybe you could find yourself having a breakthrough regarding the woundedness you have, regarding mother, family of origin, ancestors, homeland, and prosperity, including legacy wealth. Jupiter can bring inheritance money or resolution of monies around inheritance. And to some of you Capricorns, money's here in this, December 20th to May 16th journey. And maybe there's a healing around those wounds as well. And Mars in the sixth house, as I said, is about debts. And maybe some of this is prosperity around property and real estate or inheritance and legacy wealth that allows you to remove debt from your life or to remove a chunk of your debt out of your life. Okay, those are stories for Capricorn. Aquarius, I'm one of you. I'm going to jazz up just for me. Whew. Get my mojo on, move the camera so that you're sinking, guys. There's this stack of pillows, and I swear you're going down like, with a ship here. Every time I go back and look at you guys, because I'm looking at the screen, it looks like you're lower and lower. Alrighty, moving on to the next one. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. I'm one of you. We're having this, am I recording? Oh, I can't even do it again if I'm not. I am. So, like basically, this is a story about the third house. I made some examples of me, earlier. I'm a writer. My sun and moon are here. I've been writing for years. So this is good for writing, lucky breaks through writing, lucky trips, openings and opportunities for auspicious travel with a sibling, to a sibling, good connections with siblings, luck for and with a sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, nephew. Opportunity to learn something that's very important to your destiny, that's a skills-based learning, or to be teaching and having great success in anything you're teaching. Like for me, I'll be teaching my Divine Timing Masterclass in February and my Sky Reader in March. I'm going to be harnessing a visible Jupiter in my house of teaching. Yeah, those courses should go pretty well. I've taught them before, but better and better each time I teach them. And so Aquarius rising, a lot of you will travel with this transit, and especially for pleasure or with women. And so especially around March 2nd, when Venus is connecting here with Jupiter, give or take maybe, 4 or 5 days on either side, I bet you a few of you are actually already on the road traveling somewhere. I'm trying to pull off a trip to Mexico with my daughter and her best friend, who's, we call ourselves the Sangria sisters. And that may be happening exactly when Jupiter's conjoining with Venus, around March. Did I give you the date? March the 2nd. And likely that's going to happen for me because my daughter's spring break is the last week of February, right? So there's a whole story here that I already see what it'll look like exactly the sky for me as an Aquarius rising. Where are you as Aquarius rising going to travel? And now the travel opportunities are most auspicious when Jupiter is visible. So, and ideally when Mars is direct. And so between January the 12th and brain come online and March the 21st. Mars is moving as the Lord of the story over here. He's in a whole sign relationship called a sextile flow from the 5th house of leisure, pleasure, romance, children. Told her I'm going to travel with my daughter and her friend at moving toward the house of travel. So this is like so literal for me. It's crazy. Traveling with my daughter and her friend, it's all in the sky. But, for a lot of you, it could be a romantic trip with a romantic partner. You may also be looking at the resolution of a wound, of a romantic wound, or healing a wound to do with siblings during this transit. So, it's like you have to go back to 1976 for Jupiter and Chiron to conjunct in Aries. So, maybe you healed a sibling wound back then too. I have to go back and think, did I heal a sibling wound back then? Was I fighting with one of my sisters when I was in grade 8? Maybe, probably. And maybe I had to resolve that. But, this is a story for you to heal the sibling wounds for sure, or extended family wounds, or a wound with your neighborhood. Maybe you hate your neighborhood. We've got the homecoming goddess. Some Aquarians may be changing their neighborhood or healing something to do with their local neighborhood. As a possibility. Now, learning is great here. Jupiter here, what do you want to learn? Chiron, it's a healing learning, a homecoming, learning something that feels like a homecoming, like I'm coming home when I learn this, I know this, it feels familiar, it feels resonant. And so if you're studying anything during this transit, especially activated by the Chiron Mars piece on March the 13th, then it's going to be especially auspicious. Now, let's say, I'm thinking 6. Let's say between a roughly 7 degrees of Aquarius through to 20 degrees of Aquarius is getting the most juice from the Venus conjunction of Jupiter. And also then later on the 13th of March, the Chiron conjunction. So keep in mind the degree of your ascendant to know that if it's going to impact you as strongly, but all Aquarians are going to feel this anyway. Great for writing. If you're a writer, Jupiter can bless your writing, you know, award-winning writing, breakthroughs in your writing, things like that. And Venus can also, as an arts goddess, make everything really good quality writing can happen in the middle of the month of, well, during the month of March, basically, especially starting March the 2nd. Great idea to initiate a writing project maybe in the month of March, if writing is something you as an Aquarius rising especially like to do. I mean, you know, during the month of March, you still have Saturn anoretic at 29 degrees in the house of you still in the month of March. So you're finalizing your journey of Saturn and getting ready to get rid of him on March the 7th. So yeah, it's pretty intense. Like March 7th, Saturn gets the hell out of your first house, but that's a whole other story. Check out my All Signs 2023 video for that. Oh, if you're listening in the premiere, please like my channel, subscribe, punch that button, help me grow. I keep forgetting to remind you all, I really appreciate it. And the only other thing I'd say is, don't forget to buy my All Signs 23 bundle. Santa 25 is your code just for YouTube people who find me here. You get a big discount on my All Signs discount package. That's 12 hours of video content, one for each sign. Listen for your sun, moon, and rising. All right. And it's only 35 bucks. Hello, that's cheap. Divide, you know, it's $3 per video. So go check it out. Moving on to the next story. I think I covered everything I can think of here for us Aquariuses. We're finishing strong with first, but always first, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. Pisces, this is a story for you of Jupiter moving through your earnings house, your second house. Now go back on what was happening May last year through to the end of October regarding money, earnings. Now Jupiter spends money and you might go, oh my God, the money's just flowing out. So he can do that. You might have had a lot of expenditures or generosity or gave money away or just felt like money was going through your life quickly. But there's some healing energy and some Venusian conspiracy to improve your finances. So as a Pisces rising, the spending may be slowing and the increase may be coming financially with this latest transit. So let's go into some detail here. Jupiter will be moving into contact with Venus, a money goddess in your money house. So let's just say blowing up the money, expanding the prosperity, expanding your possessions. Venus is in a possessions house, getting a new car, getting a new home. These are all possibilities. And I found that homes are possessions. People say, no, they're not movable. I don't care. I found that action for someone's second house, this is what you have to do when you're really an astrologer and you do the work over years. Well, for me, the last 4 years have been the same number of clients. You see that an activation of the house of possessions, the second, has applied to real estate, a home, property, or land. So for some Pisces, a new home, a new property, new real estate, new sofa, new car, who knows? But Venus and a house of possessions with Jupiter, March the 2nd, give or take a few days on either side, super blessings. We got Jupiter still visible until the 21st of March. So I will anticipate some financial goodness, maybe even able to secure a loan or a mortgage or to receive inheritance monies as well across the way for a lot of you happening around March 2nd, give or take a few days on either side. None of that's probably going to happen until Mars goes direct, but Mars will go direct on January 12th and be in your fourth house of legacy wealth, inheritance properties, land, homes, stuff like that. And that could be happening, meaning January 12th through to May 21st. We have the best circumstances possible for you guys to buy a property, sell a property, upgrade, take over a legacy wealth, get an inheritance, upgrade your money. And there's a homecoming, coming home to yourself, feeling like you're coming home in terms of your values, in terms of your security financially, feeling like you're migrating back to a place of greater comfort or safety going on in your finances. Then you have the healing Chiron healer, wounded energy, Jupiter combo in your second house on the 13th of March. We could look at that as like a real money healing, a wound about money that you can heal, that could be quite good for you. You might find a teaching or a teacher or body of work that's Jupiterian, like educational, that helps you understand money stories better. Jupiter is Santa Claus. He's benefic. Chiron is the archetype of that which needs to be healed to receive the gifts in the wake of the healing. It's almost like you've been dealing with your own woundedness about money and money issues and resources and survival since 2019, when Chiron entered into Aries, and that transit will complete in 26. And now you're getting a breakthrough in the lesson around financial security and your ability to generate the resources you need to have food, shelter, water, safety. And that's going to be true, Pisces, for a lot of you. If you go back and think what you've been, February 2019, it was the beginning of an attempt to heal that part of your story, and maybe self-worth as well, your own self-worth. And lastly, the second house can really tie into your vocation and calling. It's a house of speech. Certainly that could be something you're healing as well during this transit. Technically it's the house of the face, and you may be healing things to do with your face, but I don't want to be that literal. But with Venus, goddess of cosmetics there are going to be a few of you Pisces people are healing the face, doing something with your face. And it should go pretty well despite Venus being in Aries, because Jupiter should be able to make sure things go well and protect you. All right. Thanks, everybody. This was an interesting experiment, and sitting on a sofa during a recording. I don't know if I'm going to try this one again because I'm absolutely frigid. The window here has no double pane, and I'll try to show it to you. I almost started to eat a tangerine, but I'm going to wait till I'm off of here. Can't take the grief. Okay. Can you guys see Vancouver? Hang on. I'm going to try. Vancouver. There we go. Those are mountains, and you can't tell. They're kind of like, it's so cold that you're looking at like frozen fog out there. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, please like my channel. Please subscribe. Please hit my notification bell. Please do all of those things. I don't want to beg, but if this is going to be my business next year, I need your support, and I would really appreciate your help to grow the channel. Thanks so much to all of my people who are probably in the live chat that I always adore, all of my regulars, Stephen the Jupiterian, One Wise Lady, One Rare Bird, Misbehaving, what a great name. These names are so fantastic. L.A. Taylor, all of you great people, Mercury with the Message, such clever channel names. I've seen so many of them, Pretty Dark. And there was another person who came in recently, and I love her channel. Something with the feral cat. What a great channel name. Anyway, we get the same people from around the world coming back from all over the world, Scotland and Denmark and Turkey. If you want to join into my live premieres as a regular thing, you just have to subscribe and you'll get a notification that I'm doing a live premiere. Thank you, everybody. Ciao, ciao. And have a wonderful Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy Hanukkah. Or however you celebrate this winter or summer season if you live in the Southern Hemisphere.